Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, please hit that subscribe button now and consider joining our Patreon for exclusives and merch. Well, it's a lovely Sunday to stay up all night, and that's exactly the sort of thing I'm willing to do for you, so let's see how this one plays out. Playing for Russell, come on guys, let's try to win Wilson. Mr. Geno Smith stands and delivers this one to DK Metcalf, but holy moly, it's Trey laying the Norwood, and speaking of wood, ya boy is already hyped. Love to see the 7th rounder contributing. Over to Ben and the boys, and it's a typical tepid start on offense. Well, there's only one twice-robbed Defensive Player of the Year, and it's the man Trent Jordan who wasted no time filling out the stat sheet in this one. Great play by Teach to effect the throw and put Geno in a 3rd and medium. Is Geno Smith actually X-Ray Cat? Because he throws this one like he can see through wooden doors, but fortunately for Steelers fans, he cannot actually throw it through the rookie. Remember what I was saying the other week about the difference between 2.1 and 2.4 seconds to throw? This is Ben with 2.44 seconds to throw, and what do you know, he finds his newly crowned #1 man for a clutch conversion. Question mark for me here on 3rd and 6 when Ben chucks that some deep instead of just going for the sticks. I'm sure some people could tell me this is a good idea for whatever reason, but it happens too much with this team. Either way, we head into the second scoreless. And they said he was only an edge. TJ damn near snags this thing out of the sky like a bear grabbing a salmon, but considering he's got to save some of his football magic meter for later, he lets it drop to the ground. Because he's bored with all his newfound time in the pocket, Ben pump fakes 14 times and fires a no-risk-it, no-biscuit ball into the Brontosaurus, who, let me check my notes, was wonderfully friendly on this fine eve. Dynamic players do dynamic things, and you gotta love easy ways to get the ball into those guys. Deontay Johnson is easily the most elusive runner on the team, and he grabs an easy 20-something behind the excellent downfield block by Freiermuth. Speaking of number 88, how about the rookie putting in some work underneath? If you haven't noticed, his impact is growing greater by the week, and I, for one, am very f***ing here for it. If the Seahawks were a baby that had candy, they are now empty-handed as Ben and Najee take their candy from them on a little pitch and catch. It really is impressive to see the routes Najee is running as a rookie back. He's way ahead of where Lev was as a rookie. Steelers 7, Seahawks 0. There goes Tokyo. That's a 300-pound Godzilla out there, man. You try to block him. How about this one? 3.43 seconds from snap to release by Large Benjamin. I think this line is closing in on 6 hours in the fridge because it's starting to gel. Get used to this. Number 88 gonna be drawing a lot of comparisons to Jason Witten for the next 10 years. Find that spot, sit down, easy first. Tale as old as time. Classic vet stuff by Benjamin, who draws a hapless defender offsides on a 3rd and 3 to keep the drive alive on a free one. Can Claypool take over Juju's spot when called upon? Well, you get an answer here as the big number 11 goes into traffic for a gotta have it conversion. Wait, hand me my binoculars. Is that a... Oh my god, it's the rare stampeding of Brontosaurus. The humanity. Although rare, the stampeding of Brontosaurus is absolutely deadly with a horrifying 100% mortality rate for opposing defenses. Matt Canada tips his safari hat to the haters that will say it's fake. Steelers 14, Ocean Hawks nothing. After undoubtedly the 27th pep talk of the night from Russell Wilson, Geno can't catch a break as he chucks one right at Wormley for a swat, Lockett for a drop, and gets himself dropped on 3rd by Alexander the Great, who you can tell everything is starting to come together for. You love to see it. Steelers, like last week, feebly settle for their current lead and don't try much with 2 timeouts, and I'm not real sure I love it. Come on, Mike. Gotta have a little faith when you're playing better. Either way, we head into the half. Steelers 14, Seahawks 0. Hey 5-Star, why on earth did you text, "Wow, I forgot football could be fun at halftime"? And to be honest with you, I think it's because I'm a glutton for punishment. Because it's exactly what you knew was going to happen. The Steelers let Gale Sayers, Emmitt Smith, Alex Collins trot right down the field without so much as a whimper from the very clearly to-it-less Steelers defensive line. Collins cashes in, and you already know this one's gonna be a game. Steelers 14, Waterbirds 7. Shades of Santonio. Ben putting a lot of trust in the dude in the number 18 jersey, and Deontay's rewarding him a lot lately. I think it's officially safe to say Johnson has turned that corner. Ben again with a bunch of time to throw can actually make his reads, and what do you know, he finds DJ for a chonk play, and the Steelers are right back in the red zone. 3rd and 14 is just a smidge out of reach, but the Boz never fails. Steelers 17, Seahawks 7. If you're a Steelers fan, you already have a ton of experience with these moments in games. Because the football gods have determined we will have drama, Geno delivers a pair of strikes to Lockett and Everett, and just like that, Geno Smith is dicing up Keith Butler's defense like they were tomatoes and he was making salsa. Yuck. Because there's only so much you can do from the 1, the Seahawks chuck it in for the 7 spot, and we got ourselves a 3-point game late in the 3rd. Only putting this one because it's something I've noted about Claypool before, but man, he's just got to start winning a couple more of these plays. Dude has the size, he's just got to use it. Another handoff for Alex Collins, who slices through the Steelers' once proud run D for a gash, followed by a dope, as Travis Homer follows his blocking for a huge chunk and into the red zone. Don't look now, but the Seahawks are just physically pounding the Steelers' front 7. We head into the 4th with the same face as Mike T. Chance to take the lead now for the Waterbirds, but individual brilliance by New Woodley, aka Alex Highsmith, Devin Bush, and Terrell Edmonds combine for a stop, and the Seahawks settle for a tie. Feeling like winning, Najee decides it's time to put things on his broad-as-hell back, and he and Balaj, who's better than you think, get him going with a couple chunks on the ground. RP, uh-oh. Maybe he's born with it, or maybe it's a fumble. Roethlisberger pump fakes himself out of control, and the ball slips out of his hand for an ugly and extremely fitting for how this season has gone, turnover. Filed firmly under the things you hate to see, from my point of view. Steelers get bailed out, though, by a holding call that puts Seattle behind and down in distance, and they can't recover. Yet another pass defense by number 90, and just a wonderfully crispy open field tackle by that 7th round rookie again. And somehow, someway, the Steelers give up nothing after the turnover. What do you do when you got a giant receiver on a tiny defender? You fire it to him and let this happen, of course. Chase continuing to add and polish elements of his game on a weekly basis. Looking like the number 7 of old, Ben shuffles around and flips this one to a coming back Deontay who can't quite pull it in. I won't be hard on DJ because he's been great, but damn, would have loved to see him catch this one even though it was tough. 3rd and 9, and it's another toss deep, which I hate, but Canada actually has the play dialed up, and whether it's a miscommunication or a miss by Roethlisberger, the ball hits the turf and the Steelers send it back. It's actually ridiculous that there are people who will have watched this game and will still think that TJ Watt isn't the best defensive player in football. Not me, but there are clearly some sad, sick folks out there. There's that man again. Moo. Najee says it's winning time, so he takes this tote right up the gut for a cool 10 spot, which leads to Ben with a little time on his hands, but Chase can't quite make the play, and for good measure pushes off, pushing the Steelers back out of the Boz's range. Almost oops. Worst moment of the day for Large Benjamin here, who isn't on the same page with Deontay, and misses Jamal Adams, who makes a brave attempt to catch the pick with his face mask. Because that almost never works, especially for linebackers, Ben lives to fight another day. Huge moment here though, needing a chunk, but Ben knows where he's going, and it's the open field king, young Najee himself, who makes an absolutely Herculean effort to get the Berg boys back into field goal range. Boz, who might as well have just woken up from a nap and doesn't even seem to care that his team is playing football, trots out onto the field and drills a 52-yarder that he couldn't be less concerned about because he is, as always. Steelers 20, Seahawks 17. Alright, we're not going to let Geno Smith do this, right? Right? Water Chickens saunter right down the field, which leads us to what will be a hotly contested play, but in all honesty is pretty straightforward. After a completion, Seattle gets on the ball to spike it with no timeouts. They lined up in plenty of time to do it, but the NFL stopped to review the previous play, which was seemingly obvious. I know Mike was mad about it, but they got the clock in regardless, so I don't really see the difference. Myers knocks it through, and we get the rare bonus 5-star. Because football needs to be as miserable as possible, apparently, the Seahawks win the toss. Oh, and in case you missed last week's memo again, still don't run at TJ Watt. Just as everyone expected, it's Geno Smith again patiently waiting in the pocket and dropping an absolute dime over Devin Bush's outstretched arm, and sometimes plays like that just make you say, maybe it's not my night. Because the Seahawks refuse to let Geno cook, they run directly at Bam Bam Cam, which is also a bad idea. And then on third, they let this soup can of a right tackle try and block Trent Jordan Watt one-on-one, and well, you know how that goes. Over to Benjamin, and let's go, Benny boy, it's winning time. Oh, no? Alright, guess not. Boomer by Young pressed the thick just when it was needed the most, and you'll love to see the rookies coming through for this team every single week. And that sets up our
5-star play of the game.
Still in next score wins mode. Maybe the last time your offense sees the ball. Geno Smith will drop deep, he'll pump, he'll take it, lost the football, knocked out by Watt, recovered by Devin Bush, who circles the right way, he almost lost the ball.
It's the GOAT doing GOAT shit just when his team needed it the most. TJ Watt catches Geno from behind and knocks that ball out with the force of 1,000 suns colliding with 1,000 moons, and it's Steelers ball well within the Boz's range. Danny Smith goes and wakes Boswell out of his 1,000-year slumber and out-trots the ice-cold, brass-balled son of a gun himself in the crisp number 9 jersey, and as if there were any question at all, Boz is... Hey, I know it's not ideal, but your Pittsburgh Steelers are scratching and clawing their way back into this thing, and I'm going to need us all to take a moment and ponder what this 3-3 record means. Is this team a real competitor? Well, what is a real competitor exactly? I acknowledge the level of competition faced the last 2 weeks, but the Steelers certainly don't look nearly as paltry as they did 2 weeks ago, and this offense is starting to find its identity. With a perfectly timed bye week followed by games against the Browns, Bears, and Lions, the time is now for the Steelers to make a move if they're going to. And to that I say, here we go. If you're still here, please consider joining our Patreon to support the show, or grab a shirt, or just keep watching. Either way, I'll see you soon.